Yeah, so that's reps, and then if you click it again, if we have an executive session, and you leave, we just click on that
And
button.
it's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's correct.
Thanks so much. Come back up.
Hopefully.
First page, first paragraph. They didn't have me attending the meeting. I left at 4:15, that's correct, later on, but the, we just did my name.
Did you catch that?
At the top of there.
Yeah.
I'll correct that.
Yeah.
First paragraph, just to make sure that.
I didn't
Chairman,
think it-
yeah, Chairman chooses all meeting order, Commissioner, Commissioner, and the President.
Okay.
Next, was Pat here at that time? or not?
Background light.
He couldn't make it.
Or no, he come in, after that, we come back.
You best read this. There's a motion to Set minutes written for March 4th.
With that one correction, I would so move.
A second, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So carried 3-0. Committee reports. I didn't bring my notes with me today, but last Wednesday, the Missouri River Basin had a quarterly meeting. They had Tracy Streeter there from the Kansas Water Association office. A lot of talk centered around the proposed 50-year water plan and the reopening of a potential project, 1982, to basically transport water from the Missouri River up near White Cloud all the way to western Kansas to the Ogallala. And there's some pretty good dialogue and feedback. Donovan County had, Terry Horner was there representing Donovan County. Is going to write a letter requesting that not endorsing the project. The project at earliest will be done by 2015, but they're going to send a letter to the governor's office, not recommending proceeding with the project.
That portion of the project, that portion of the plan.
Yeah, just that very specific. There's a big thing regardless, but as far as that portion of it, so he had asked, he had said something to me about possibly relaying to Ashley County as well at some point. It was definitely interesting. There's a lot of Donovan County producers there, a lot of people. It's interesting what they want to do. The proposed would build a reservoir of like 17,000 acres, Donovan County pride water ground that would be lost. And either use a series of canals or pipes. Tracy Streeter suggested that the way to do it was to pump it via pipes and pumping stations. So back in '82, they estimated the cost of the project to be right around $5 billion. So you can imagine what they estimated the cost. Basically, to reopen the project, it was around $300,000, which they got a wonderful amount of private donations with groups out in western Kansas, plus the Kansas Water Office had to dedicate $50,000 towards the project, part of the budget towards it. He's going to try to keep all the counties, especially up in this area, effective, so.
Yeah, they will have a hard time that decent because of knowing how many cities that rely on Missouri water. You know, that's the potential of taking away a lot of, as we all know, some years there's plenty and some years there's not that much, so.
That was one of the concerns, they asked for comments earlier on. One of the concerns that I relayed to thing was that would open up an interstate for essentially nobody, none of the surrounding states dealing with where we can take out the water, so. That was, I think, a couple of people after that. Kim McCauley was there. Obviously, he's got ground right next to the proposed site, but he's also National Corridor Association, so that's a pretty serious people objection to that. That wasn't a good portion of it, but it seems like it took out the biggest portion from the
Sports complex.
I attended the Bolton County Health Department meeting last night. Financially, we're moving along a lot better now. Part-time CEO we have doesn't feel she can continue. We're going to be advertising for a part-time CEO and a part-time
Because they don't have to have it right now.
hospice and home health manager. Currently, our home health hospice nurse manager is on employed due to health
Well,
reasons.
it's not 2 foot wide.
And we haven't been able to fill that position, so we're going to try to hire somebody.
Yeah, hold
with
it.
confidence.
Yeah, they have to cut through those quickly too.
That's,
Pipe right under the road.
we're still functioning this way, but,
Had that last fall, last, I forgot.
So they, get hired, CEO.
It'll be a combination, it'll be designated, either be 2 to 3 days a week, they spend basically with CEO responsibilities and then the rest of it. And it'll be a commingled job when all said and done. I mean, you will, home health and hospice is a, they're all involved, I mean, at the time, but it'll be, in order to maybe get the salary up to justify our revenue, we felt, well, maybe if we can find somebody that expertise and the business that we can pay a little more than what we send to the hospice and get somebody to do the 2 o'clock on the hospital. So anyway,
We're gonna keep the upper hospice.
I don't know, there's several private firms, as of right now, there's cars is considered the favorite, I mean, has the best review for the most part. And that's not to say it could go out tomorrow, you know, but there are other private entities out there that do their hospice. But it is one of the good revenue sources that we do have for home health. Allows us to not have to contribute quite as much on the county levy to it. If we didn't have home health and hospice, well, we would have to be contributing a lot more because many of the other programs are not very revenue friendly.
No, I had the meeting last week and I reported.
Okay, I think we got a slight change on the agenda. I think, Leslie Ayers is ill today, so I think, we inserted, Joe at purchase order, I believe, so today. So, Joe, how's your feel?
It's for the courthouse board.
Oh, so it's 547.
Well, they was here, every 5 years you're supposed to be adjusted more. A couple of years ago, they, put in a, new meter here, and the new meter down from Memorial Hall, and ever since they've been burning pretty yellow, and they've been firing pretty hard. A little further than they're supposed to. So, while it was here, it saves money by going ahead and having both of them. They, you know, they've got to analyze a whole bunch of other stuff to do that, right?
They inspect it too, or they give you anything on how it's operating okay? Or?
Yeah, it was just more or less just to look at that part.
Okay.
20-something of this month is, the insurance company sends by to inspect all the board, which I'll take them around, and they're the ones that do all the actual inspections, to make sure that they're functioning properly, up to date. But when they come here, we do all the boilers, the jail, courthouse, and water halls, and those. And some of the hot water heaters, or the water heaters as well, because some of them are over 100 gallons, so we inspect them. And then yesterday, went out and we finished up the ADA compliance. Ray came up and we looked over everything, and he's supposed to write us up a report on what's compliant, what isn't.
Okay.
So,
Did they go out to the county to look out there? They did.
yes, we got an easement with the restroom. You didn't know what quite think of those.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they are ADA compliant, and they aren't, I don't know.
Today's day and age, I'd probably say yes. So it has, everything has to have access, it feels like, basically.
Yeah, and see back there, the way it was built, it's just you've been out there, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a pedestrian, but I can imagine, figuring they probably built back in the thirties, forties, or whatever it was, it could be.
Yeah, they're interesting to look at.
Yeah.
And then the shelter house, he did make a recommendation there, there's a lip, so all it would take is a little bit of gravel or something to make it, somebody put out a table that's actually wheelchair accessible. So it's great outside, it's just that little lip.
Well, that's just so it's accessible to get up on the pad.
Yeah, so mostly something like that we probably should do, if we have a little flying rock or something. Put that there. But the restroom, I don't know if there's anything we can do.
Outside to do it, starting all over.
I think maybe put a portable one out there, maybe if he writes it up that way, I don't know how he's gonna write it up, so.
He thought, how long would it take him to get that report?
We talked about a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
How's the progress on, what's the status on the more?
The doors are supposed to be in, and they're not. That's all I can say, I mean, they're supposed to be, but, as soon as they get here, they've got a week at the most to finish the project. But,
We should have one more payment, I think, on that, and then you get a grant
I
money.
think just issued the last one, didn't we?
you'll have one more payment, then you'll have a 10% payment that would be held back until after, and then that one has to be paid.
And then it has to be paid before that has to be, so, yeah, everything has to be paid, okay.
I think we just issued the last payment. According,
We issued a payment on the last payment, we got one more, like we said.
oh, okay, it looks like the last, like the balance that was left was the payment for going out.
I don't think they would have paid for the doors, I don't think,
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but they should have.
27,000 or something like that.
I think so, there was the exact amount that was showing what's been paid out to date versus the total project.
There's definitely 10%, held back.
Or, yeah, it's
I didn't see 10%, I didn't see that on there.
Okay. Yeah, every bill should have a 10% retainage, so we make sure that things get done and get paid for.
Okay.
But I wouldn't think the doors should be paid for yet, I haven't seen my bill yet. So I don't see it after it's paid, then I'll get it. It should show balance, it's the architects.
This is just checks that we wrote
Oh, okay.
last month.
If we all agree, by early summer, you'll have another truck to maintain. If we approve what Max come up with today, so.
Well, I have one less, or I'll have the same one, because I'll get rid of one.
Okay. Well,
So I'm not preparing anything on it unless I absolutely have to.
yeah. Well, that'll be fine, so I think it's gonna work out, hopefully it'll work out for everybody. I think it's the right thing to do.
It'd be great for me.
Yeah. We have Snap to wash it for you.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll clean it up, yeah.
Change the oil too, maybe?
Maybe change the oil.
Is that too much?
We can, it'll be ready to go when you get it.
Okay. Hey.
You want full fuel?
Yeah, there you go, even that.
And you'll keep the plow out there at the road and bridge for it, or?
Do you have a place to keep the plow?
Check road that says right there, how much room's got to be in front of it?
Check date and due date of 3
You know, down there, you can put it right in something.
So we put it like behind the truck.
That's what I thought, too.
Truck in front of it.
You can think about that.
Yeah, I can put it right behind
Yeah.
the biggest truck.
That's gonna get more.
Is it on the bill?
It really doesn't take that much.
It's on the payment register.
Oh,
See, there's
like
two
3 feet.
So the truck.
Yeah, there's two separate units for the truck.
Great, then I just put it there.
That
I won't
way.
have to worry about it, you guys.
National?
Yeah.
I know she's paying part of that, but she's not, she's gonna cancel,
I thought Wes was like canceling the whole thing.
she has to keep, she's gonna cancel,
New
HR,
personnel, or is it gonna be?
and,
All right.
there's another she canceled on there.
You never had a need
I can't
like
remember
that
what,
before?
so she's gotta keep something, I think payroll for, I think
That was
payroll,
the one
yeah, well,
Mark
she didn't
got.
pay, the budget there either yet. She paid some of that, this was last
I
week.
never know.
I didn't know that was long as we
Get with Chris and let them know.
Yeah. I don't see the payment on here for the,
No, I didn't.
For the whole- not the one, there was just, a payment just went out on it, so I thought it was for the remaining amount of what it should have.
It should be logged in anyway. Good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm just gonna set this up here. Ain't gonna bother you.
You gonna show us a Netflix movie?
I'm gonna try.
Pick up where we
Yeah,
are.
I'll do that.
I haven't got to see that one movie that Mark Wahlberg and something made. That was supposed to be Rose and Tiger or something like that. That's supposed to be pretty good. I missed it. So pull that up for us.
You could spend all day doing that stuff, couldn't you?
I've got a PO here for 2015 Chevy Silverado, 2500, four-wheel drive, double cab, diesel engine for $39,873.20.
It met all specs,
Meets
right?
every step.
Entertain a motion to accept the 2015 Chevrolet Silverado bid from Lewis Automotive, in amount of $39,873.20. Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Further discussion? Just carried 3-0. That may.
Also, I have a PO for $787.36. It's for Greater Blades.
We can sign off. This one?
Oh, you guys are in here?
It's
Well,
already
it
provided.
came through the email, but we
Okay. All right, so you, okay.
just for the record, I think we need to, for the record.
Oh, we need 2 copies of this.
No.
We have one of those.
And this is it.
Okay.
You need 2 copies of it?
I'll just take this one.
I don't think I signed it, we didn't ask for it. Oh, this is the truck, okay.
I'm sorry, what was the second one, Brian?
Greater than
Greater Blades,
787-36 for the Blades.
And then also I had another PO that's for both Greater Blades. It's for 50 Greater Blades, it's for $4,445.
County Commission, Sunday, can I help you?
For just a couple minutes, on Friday's meeting, you guys wanna meet me somewhere, or?
Which one?
the Friday's meeting.
I can't go subpoena for the eminent domain case. You're talking this Friday, right?
Right.
Yeah. I gotta stay here for,
Okay.
the hearing, it's not a hearing.
This Friday?
As of right now, it's
Yeah,
still-
9 AM, I'm told I have to be in court at 9 AM, so.
Pat hasn't, I guess I'm very good with Pat.
I did have it yesterday, so
Okay.
that's all I know. Maybe you're off the hook.
Well, you're gonna, well, I'll get with Pat and then I'll get back with you.
Let me ask, is it beneficial for you?
This is the Northeast Kansas.
This isn't as beneficial as the next one will be the highway officials meeting. It'll actually be more beneficial. A lot of the stuff at this meeting, you'll hear the same thing at the next meeting. So, kind of on the fence.
I think some other things too, that really likes to break out.
Well, actually, I talked to the Douglas County, supervisor down the road, and he said they really didn't have much
Okay.
going on with the road and bridge guys. So,
Who's supposed to be meeting? Was it Northeast or Boone County, what was supposed to be afterwards at that meeting too?
I think we talked about,
You gonna go or? I can't go, I'd love to go, but Keith Hills and Bryan County Commissioner would have to ride down if one of us was gonna go.
I'll get with you at the hearing, I need to find out about that. I haven't been notified yet.
That's what I was told, so I was told that yesterday, so. I really didn't, didn't want to see that, so. Okay, I need a motion to, open bids for, road oil for 2014.
Mr. Chairman, I would make that motion.
Second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
The form I give you, you'll see down at the bottom, we received a quote or a bid from Vance, Bergon, and Coastal. It's got October here left, the 2013 bid, what we paid, it's $2.17.
That's delivered price or
Delivered price.
Okay.
I'll start, with Vance Brothers. Vance for the RS1 HM, it was $2.10 a gallon plus 7 cents freight, so it'll be $2.17 a gallon. The SS1H is $2 a gallon plus 7 cents delivery, so it'll be $2.07 a gallon.
Is how much you said,
207,
total?
yes.
What's the difference between the two? I always forget.
SS1H is tack oil, what you put down, before you put your asphalt down. The RS1 HM is the chip seal oil.
Okay.
Vance also did an alternate bid of the RS-1H Plus.
What's HS plus?
basically the same as the RS1 HM, but it's got a little bit of diesel fuel in it. That is actually what we used last year because it's got diesel and we used some dirty rock. We were not using wash rock on our county roads, and that helps adhere to that rock. Their alternate bid of RS1H plus was $196 plus 7 cents a gallon for, so that would be two or three. $2.03 per gallon delivered. And that was Vance for a bid.
Any conditions, something happy?
Next is Ergon.
That's right. Okay, then,
Ergon's bid for RS1HM is $2.47 per gallon.
That's good.
That's the order price. The SS1H from Ergon is $2.42 per gallon. Next, we have Coastal. Coastal RS1M HM is $2.49 per gallon. That is delivered. The SS1H is $2.28 per gallon.
Mr. Chairman, I think we need to table these, first further discussion later on. So I move we table these bids, so.
A second.
Motion and second to table, table, you want to have further discussion or just table the?
Table the acceptance of the bid, yeah. Table action.
Table action, yeah, that's fine. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Matt, how many gallons did you bid out? I'm just kind of curious.
Actually, I didn't bid a specific amount, but, we had in the budget 224,000 gallons.
Both, or?
That is just, actually, that is just, 224,000 gallons for the RS1H.
Okay. And how much is the other?
We don't use very much of that, we'll probably use about 12,000 gallons a year. Brown and Donovan County bid their oil yesterday, and they did get a little bit better rate than we did.
Yeah, I talked to the guy last night.
I thought Vance was gonna match it.
Well, that's what I was told.
I was gonna ask, are we gonna start using more of that haydite stuff? I mean, because it just seems like the stuff it's just not adhering very well.
Yeah, one reason why we don't have as much luck with it adhering to the roads is because we use dirty rock.
Yeah.
It should improve if Hams moves in, they are gonna have a wash plant, we're gonna be able to get wash rock after they get their plant going. That will improve our, adhesion. But yeah, the haydite, it does, stick good. Just a little bit more expensive. It's about $3,400 a mile more to use the haydite. I was probably planning on, when we redo right there at Effingham, I kinda had, planned
Edwards Road.
yeah, Edwards Road, the first section through town, I was planning on using hayride on that top
How far are you?
layer on that.
I'd like to see start using more of that stuff for a lot of counties.
Especially in a residential area.
Oh, a lot of counties are just flat out going to it. I know Shawnee and several of the others are just saying it's holding up a lot better than.
And that's what KDOT uses, but, like I said, it is,
Do we get, how much does it cost? I mean, it's probably costs more to get the other smaller rock, I would assume, at the quarries, is the smaller rock cost more?
yeah, half-inch screen is $12.50.
Yeah.
The haydite, they don't sell it by the ton, they sell it by the cubic yard.
Yeah.
That's how they sell it. It's, $42.60 per cubic yard. And it takes 128 cubic yards per mile, whereas the half-inch screen takes 160 tons per mile. So,
Yeah, but that would cost me quite a bit more.
it probably will. It'll be more. I haven't got any prices at all from that.
So that'll narrow that margin down.
Yeah, it will. It will.
I don't know, just, a lot of counties are talking it up
Yeah.
pretty high, so if it's minimal cost, if it's gonna last longer, I think we're good. I know, I can't think of his name from Vance Brothers, he's talked it up quite a bit.
Dave Keener.
Yeah, I think he was in it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I've talked to him about it before. But yeah, it's something we definitely look at. Like those $3,400, a little over $3,400 right now, but like Bill said, that margin will narrow. So I'd say the wash rock's gonna be probably at least $20 higher or something.
Are you gonna go there for the 2 o'clock deal?
No, I've got another problem that we need to decide on.
Oh, good. Good, doesn't matter, Matt, for the short executive session, but we can do, you wanna hang around for a little bit, while we'll take care of Jim and then.
Do we need executive session for yours, or?
No, but we do need to make a decision. And we'll know why when I get into it. I just need help in making a decision. I don't think it would be just up to me, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about
Yeah,
that.
two,
Yeah.
What
We have 1,820 parcels that still have some waste ground valued at $10 an acre. So if we have 60 acres, it's times 10, it's valued $600. We had all this checked, and when the system was working right, and right before we print notices, the TBD said that we're on the server, put us on another new server, along with 4 or 5 other counties on that server. And they compiled, recosted everything. Somehow the number in the system that's multiplying our waste ground by $10 wasn't doing it anymore. So if you had 60 acres the total 60 acres is now valued at $10, not 600. So we have 1,420 errors out there that got mailed in the valuation notice, and we had no idea it was even going on. It ended up, even at $10 an acre, we end up still increasing on waste ground. This is tax dollars, all right, $669. That number should have been $7,046, so we actually underbilled $6,377 tax dollars, not mill levies. So we multiplied by the mill levies in all the areas, so we knew what we were talking about. Then, the state of Kansas, believe it or not, they found it, and they called me up yesterday. And this happened in more than just one county. They said it's strictly up to us. We send out new valuation notices, or we don't have to send out new valuations. It's up to us. Now, if you narrow this down and say, okay, let's look at every parcel that had a tax bill, that would have had a tax bill more than $5 increase. We are now not talking about 1,820 parcels, we're talking about 434 parcels. If we corrected those 434 parcels, it would be increasing the tax bill by $4,492. It would save us an awful lot of stamps and postage. Anything under $1.
So you're saying the state made an error in their paper?
Yeah, but they won't commit to saying that they did.
Well,
We know we checked it and checked it and checked it. I mean, this is one of those things that we felt nightmare.
Wait, they won't admit that it was their system that caused the error? Because I'm thinking, like, I want to mail this back out to people, explaining who did error, otherwise we're gonna get hit with this.
I know.
Well, we'll just make a statement that Property Valuation Division, or is that the group that made the error? We'll just,
Yeah, I'm going to call before we would make that statement for sure. But, Heidi at PVD is the one that caught it. Because it doesn't show up on any of our records.
Did she call you or give you an email?
No, she called, she told Bobcat told Penny, who comes down and talks to us. So I got a fourth person to really pull down. So Penny didn't even tell me what exactly happened. Just she said it was a compiling error. That's when we recalculate things. Now there's actually 434 parcels that actually only have a tax change of $1 or less. So, those we reduce money sending out valuation notices.
yeah, but
From that standpoint.
in my experience, though, if you don't relay to everybody, you're gonna have, even though it's $1 for us, it doesn't seem like much, you still want to relay that information to the property owner. I would think, if I was a property owner, it's still like, any change,
That's why.
good, bad, or indifferent, I think you'd want to do.
That's why I wasn't making the decision, that's why I brought it up here, because if you send out to all these people those corrections, telling you count the envelope costs and postage costs and everything, you're probably looking at $1,000
And that's
to correct that.
postal free sort?
No.
That makes sense, yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to print them right here, and stuff them, to get them faster. Because we would have to send them out by Friday. We would still be in our compliance. I told them we'd have our notices out by Friday, we mailed them out last Friday. So we have this week to crush these.
So you're talking 438, and it generated $1,000 more.
Actually, there's a total of 1,820 parcels that were affected. We're saying all but 422 of those were less than $5 tickets.
I only print back.
The vast majority of them were less than $1 difference in taxes between what they were billed and what the corrected bill would be. So if you're looking at, we looked at it and said, if you're looking at 1,200 notices that are gonna gain you less than $1,200, it's not very effective use of money. But again, we know there's the question of
You're supposed
right
to
is
be
right.
right by the sun,
Yeah.
and I know that.
Well, that's the only reason I was saying, because
I understand that every time I get a check from an insurance company for 22 cents, I always wonder about effective use of my money. So it's the same, you understand the question.
They just ask a little more when the premium comes out. To cover that.
And that's what they'll say about us too.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is,
Yeah,
this is a catch-22, right?
it really is. It really is.
But he got to receive money, we're asking for money back.
Well, the fact is,
Additionally.
you've got to cue both directions.
Oh, okay.
Because actually, if they have less than an acre, it actually just figured them at $10. So you've got almost 250 who had less than 1 acre of waste, and it charged them $10. It's not $10, but it gave $10 of value. The total change, though, was less than, the most expensive you can get in wasteland was, in ours, is less than 50 cents an acre. So we're not talking about a bill greater than 50 cents difference.
Could you correct this on the tax statement and 99.99% would never notice the dollar went up a dollar, went down a dollar? Could you legally do that?
I don't know, I think your valuation notices and calculation should be the same.
Yeah.
Because we want to protest or review hearings, I can just think of 100 reasons why you probably want.
I think you're better to send a valuation notice if that's what you want the tax bill to be based on.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's required, and if we didn't need to do that, or go with what we got and forget about it.
So some counties are not making any corrections, they're just letting it go.
So the 434 that have enough $5 or more, that means 4.
And the worst case would be $60 if I has an increase in.
Well, I don't think that's gonna scare anybody, because there's justification, but those 434 would, you'd collect another $4,492, is that right?
That's correct.
So it's not gonna cost us, if you only do 434 parcels, even $1 a notice, that's still an extra $4,000.
That's correct.
Well, that is still just notifying you, it's kind of doing the right thing. It's part of the
Exactly.
change. I know it's not anything under a dollar,
Yeah,
not very much.
yeah, what we're slogan is there's more out there.
Transparency.
Yeah, there's less than $5 that's not gonna get drawn into this, so.
I didn't know what way to go with this, and the state will not make a commitment. I said, well, just tell them what to do. We will not do that.
So you have to check, you're gonna check with them before, I would explain to them how this here, because if I got the million, it was like $60 change, I'd probably want to know what exactly happened or why.
Well, basically, I would tell them that, I mean, all your wood crown was valued at 10 regardless of how many acres you had, I'd have to correct that part of it. And I think that's just what I would.
Oh, yeah, but like how the error occurred.
Sometimes it's best not to even cover that, yeah,
I just don't want, you know.
I have found in the past it works best, just to say, you know, here's an error that was made, and need to be corrected.
Sure.
You know, they blame me, I don't care. Just for a lot.
I can tell you, we discovered the error on the 11th of February. Jim corrected the error in the system, it stayed that way for quite a while, we just didn't notice, after the final printout, so it had been changed. That's what occurred, they changed what Jim had changed.
Yeah, our table dropped something,
Well, I guess check with PBD. I mean, I'd still probably be inclined to relay how the error occurred. You know, you don't want to take the blame on something like this. I mean, it's minimal, but it adds.
Minimize, you're gonna get blamed someone anyway.
Exactly.
Minimize, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, whatever we do, I just have to send an email that this is what we did. So. And to find out if they want to commit, I'll have to call Heidi, because Heidi didn't want to call it FPV.
Good.
I am having Debbie write a letter saying that we have working at this point, and that type of paper trail too, so.
Well, it sounds like you guys had caught the error in time, but they went ahead and it changed.
Well, the table wasn't calculated correctly. It was
Oh,
a
okay.
copy error, corrected the table,
Yeah.
saved the table, went in the parcels, rechecked it, and calculates correctly. So I knew it was done right.
Yeah.
Why it came back, it's not from what we did. I do know that.
Well, I would say even if they might get into this, they'll be surprised if they say we were not gonna make any error. I would still relay how the error occurred. Otherwise, you're gonna get into data calls, everything's gonna be scrutinized. The whole fixtures exemption has opened up Pandora's box as far as what's real and what's personal property, so I would just err on the side of caution.
The other thing on the compliance report that you guys give
Yeah.
on me, they are still going to, if you're going to see, or they're still going to write it up as a note on that error that not all of them got sent the correct value. And I can get them to remove that even regardless of the error on the other side. So you'll see that this next year.
See, they put error on these.
I could win.
Okay, well, Michael, I think that stirs a question up in my mind. You said, is it, how many total parts, you said there's 1,800?
1,820 total parcels that are affected.
So that would take 1,820 corrections. You're gonna have to make those corrections anyway, aren't you?
Well, they probably.
No, I can correct them all, or I can correct, I know how, we can go in the system and actually just correct certain ones for that matter. We can do that, we know how to do that, so.
But you can have, I realize you may talk about 30 cents, but you get down to the point of somebody saying, well, I got a correction, but nobody else, these other people didn't get a correction. Next year's statement, you'll have it corrected, right?
Right.
So it costs you, if you send out 1,800 or some notices, and you collect $6,300, is that right?
Right, and there's about 1,000, so it'd be 50.
You end up with the same net dollar, if you're looking at the financial statement. It almost seems to me, not that I want to put that much more work on you. No, I'm serious, because it's pathetic. We run the same thing with motor vehicles, what they're doing in the treasurer's office. They come with this fancy new system, they don't like, it's fine, blah, blah, blah. No, it isn't fine. I can get into it with the bridge engineer at KDOT too. Idiotic they are too, I admit, error, but I'm just wondering if we ought to just notify everybody and even if it's gonna lower it, why then everybody's been notified. Otherwise, you are picking and choosing when you do this.
And you're not supposed to do that.
Right.
No, the real correct way would be notify everybody.
Yeah. That's my
From a
point.
business standpoint, it would be no.
Yeah. Because, like I said, it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
You've done the right thing, but somebody's gonna say, why did they spend this much money to correct me 20 cents? You're gonna get,
A lot of it's 48 cents differences for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt, you understand what.
No, we've got close to 600 of them are less than $1.
I know.
So, I mean, anytime you're talking that many less than $1, it's a pretty small thing, but we know exactly what you're saying, and that's why
That's why we came up
you,
here.
you make better decisions than we do, obviously, so.
Well, I don't make the decision and then it comes back up here and you guys find out about it later too. That's not
Would
right.
you expect me to buy you lunch for that?
Oh, no.
We're not doing much of that.
I guess like I said, it's just, I would just say to everybody, and then the system is corrected even for next year. And, we'll take the heat out.
Well, for next year, that's not a problem, correct it for next year.
Well, I understand what
Unless they did it again to me.
Yeah, unless they do it again to you as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But next year, we'll be a little more prepared for it as far as that, we're gonna mention some of these things when we meet with our legislators next week. And, they're trying to take away funding here, funding there, mandate it. Well, they better take care of some of their own agencies and get them cleaned up before they come back on the counties and doing things. So that's my point. That's my editorial.
I think it's long story short, does that make sense? Just, I think we're all in agreement. send out notices to everybody.
Yep.
Okay, well done.
You can check with them, but I'd still make sure that letter, they know that PBD, you know, they came from their side, so.
Okay.
We will back you up.
You're not deflecting them, but you're telling the truth, so.
You're gonna use a car to this weekend, private, for the,
We're not 100% sure yet.
All right, yeah, 'cause I thought about just driving myself down, because I probably won't go on, that's where I was, Friday afternoon, so. Yeah, we want to walk into it.
Yeah, we'll want it on the 18th.
Yeah, so you know what? No, Friday.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know the other car if we wanted, so.
We're having the meeting with the other counties, that's bad. But the other problem, we're gonna do the same thing, I got a big problem with that. Representation, I don't know.
If the other departments want to use it, or if, I mean, we got it out there to use, so.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, well, somebody's gonna go.
Yeah, well, I think there's 3 or 4 in that packet that shows who all sold them.
Well, I was gonna go outside.
Yeah, I think the treasurer, listed it here.
I think there's 8.
Well, I'm gonna make tell, I think I should use one, I can tell her, call us up and meet.
Yeah, just put her in charge of it, and if anybody else wants to, you know, if there's room, it speaks for it pretty easy, so. Make use of it. If somebody has to try on their own, it's fine, usually you want to go on your own, so.
No, it's just kind of what it's gonna right now.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Back on up.
Yeah, Roger, do you want this? I got something for Keno.
Actually, I got it also, and,
There's one parcel on your Sugar Road, it's so exactly what.
and you know what, let me do this, because I know I'm not scheduled to talk about that today.
Yeah, that's right.
I just had a conversation yesterday with Steve Samuelson, and so, from Steve's standpoint, I need to probably sit down with you, bring you up to date again on where this is headed, and you do know there are gonna be some changes to the ordinance, and we'll go through all that, but I am dealing with him on it. Okay, and that is something, you got that, but I also got the phone calls and the discussion on it,
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
Let me do this, I'm trying to, I didn't have access to a big overhead, but I know up here. Can you all see that okay?
Good.
Okay, here's the situation. As much as possible, I try and work with all the departments the best that I can, do whatever we can do for them. Just recently, we just finished doing, for Pauline, we did her tax district filings for her this year, right? And so we do that. Matt came to me, and I know Jeff had mentioned that there were questions on bridges and bridge data and information. And so when Matt came and said, can you help me put together something that could be a little more useful, we took a look at it, and in a relatively short period of time, actually while he was vacationing in Hawaii, we put together a PDF file. Now, it's a big PDF file, but it's a PDF file. And because it's a PDF file, any of you can have it on a computer or on an iPad or on potentially on your cell phone or whatever else you'd like, and I'd be glad to get you a copy. I say it's a big PDF file because this PDF has 434 pages in it. But what you have is a map of Ashland County. And then you've got a little hand that scrolls around, and if you get to one of these bridges, you see it actually sticks a finger up in the air like that, and then if you click on that bridge, it takes you to a copy of the report. Now, this is not the report that Matt had. What we did is we got a hold of Schwab and Eaton Engineering. We got all of their spreadsheets that they used to put this together, and I'd be happy to show you the relationships we set up. But what we did is took all of their tables, there are about a dozen of them, and then we linked them all back together through common fields. We had to add a little data here and there to make them all tie in correctly, and then pulled all the information after we put them all together in a package. Then we pulled the information that we wanted back out to a report, so that rather than having to go to 3 or 4 pages in a report in different locations to find out what you want about a specific bridge, when you click on that bridge, it's going to take you to a page just like this, and you can just read the information. Top left-hand corner says this is 16.9-N.5. And it gives you the state number, tells you it's a truss bridge, says it was constructed in 1920. Its length is 16 feet long. The minimum roadway length is 16 feet. The bridge length is 51.8 feet. It goes on to say the bottom chord has heavy collision damage, L1, L2, L3. It tells you what they're seeing in it. Gives you a location, tells you when the inspections were done, all that information right there on that bridge. If you scroll to the next page, it's also going to give you all the photographs for that bridge right there in the next page. Here are the photographs that were taken for this bridge.
Are they dated?
Well, and in this case, it says the bridge number, and it gives you right here, the inspection date is 5/2/12.
Okay.
So that's the date of that photo.
Okay, all right, that's good enough. Yeah.
All those photo dates are right there. Gives you who the inspector was on that bridge. If there are more photos, they're going to be in the pages to follow. If you find yourself, and this has 3 pages, 4 pages, and a 5th page of photos. If you find yourself getting to another page in the report, then you want to go back to the top of the document.
Which one is that? That is actually on a dirt road.
Well, here. We can go right back to, if we hold the shift in the page up key, or excuse me, the shift in the up arrow key, it should take us right back to the very first step. But if not, we can go back to page number 1. And all you have to do is zoom around in here, and you can see that one is right here on Kiowa Road, just north of 310. So, and in fact, I didn't put all of that information in there, but you can scroll in on this, see how we can scroll in? That's the bridge we were looking at right there. Now, any of these other bridges, while you're there, these are all linked. So if you want to know about bridge 15.4 again, 6, you just click on that, and notice that takes you right to that page.
Well, there's two bridges that would be good to that area. Where are those at?
Oh, which one?
Bring up the map again.
Okay.
On the,
Yeah.
What do I have to
there's a good one on that.
Okay, and where do you want to go?
Right up here by the county lake.
Okay,
It would be,
I think the ones you're one.
no, it's State Lake, I'm sorry, State Lake. The
State Lake should be about
Which one
right
are you,
here, shouldn't it?
which one are you, you want the ones that on the road that they want to
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Where do you want to go?
I'm
Isn't
sorry.
down, that ain't wrong, that, what is it?
It's,
Let's forget it's a neighbor, I thought, wasn't it?
it's the N517.7 and the N6.
N6, right here. Because I'm clicking on your screen instead of this one. It's just,
N6 17.5.
am I on the right one
There
there?
you go, right.
No.
You get closer now.
Down just a little bit and over. Right, oh, up,
Hang on.
right there.
Right there.
N6.
Oh, right there. Wait a minute. Why am I not
They got blocks.
Yeah.
I will say I've got this installed on my computer and I've used it several times and it is very handy.
Looks good.
There we go. Is that it? I get the wrong one.
That's it.
Okay,
Now, pictures, you want to see the pictures?
Yeah.
go down to pictures.
That is the right one.
That is the right one.
No.
Let me, go back,
That's 18, he's on 16.
hang on. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
16,
Yeah.
16.9N7.
No.
yeah. Can you, no,
It's in .6, 17.5.
You know what? For some reason, that's the only one the link's not working on.
Okay.
And I will fix that link.
That's the other one right above it, isn't it?
Yeah. Go down to the picture somewhere.
Because for some reason, it doesn't matter how I click on that one.
How about the?
All I gotta do is repair the link. Which,
The N5, 17.7 right above it.
that one?
Yeah, go to that one.
Okay.
I'll scroll out of the picture there.
isn't that the good one?
This is the one with the real issue.
Hmm. Okay, yeah. I mean, if the handrails is bent like that.
Yeah, and we'll repair that link. For some reason, there's just a link on that one file, because that's the only one I've ever hit that I have found that wouldn't go to it.
Yeah, I haven't found any that wouldn't go to either.
And so we'll repair that one. But it's just, the whole idea is that here's another tool that I think is a little handier than the other reports to use, isn't it?
Yeah, it just puts everything on one page and you have the pictures right there. Because when they give me my bridge report, I don't have any pictures in there. I have to go back to the file cabinet, to the actual bridge file to get those. It just makes it a lot easier.
Well, and you can't talk about what's where, because your bridge report has some sections like which are the most important ones to repair.
So is this available online? I mean, can anybody look at this? or-
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know if this could be put on our website or.
I will discuss with Wes. It's a big file.
Yeah.
And so it would more than likely be something that you want in a web sharing location, like a Dropbox or something.
Sure.
But I have no problem, any of you, do you have it now, Jeff?
Do I have this one?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay, we can put this out in a location you all can get to.
Where do you have it, like, on server, or where is that?
We'll put it on the server. The server's been changing so much in the last
Yeah,
week
that's what I was gonna ask.
that I need to find places I used to go to put things for anybody, just like giving something to Matt this time, I had to go to a different location.
Yeah, Wes had to create some kind of a link out. I don't understand it,
Like Dropbox or something, or?
No, actually, he's set up a file transfer location on that,
Oh, okay.
on the drive. But I'll make sure, but there isn't any reason any of you can't have this, because if somebody calls you about something, not that you need to be getting this up while you're on the telephone with anyone, but it's sometimes you just get a question and you say, well, I'd like to know about that. There isn't any reason you shouldn't have it, because there's no extra cost to you to have it.
But I still think they need to go through Matt before they go through us, and then we can, as long as we can access it together, like, that's fine.
Rick, I was telling Matt earlier, one that I'd like to see, maybe you have the data all in there, but can you sort it out by like sufficiency rating? And like color code, like your map, the main map with all the bridges. Can you do one where like sufficiency rating like 20 or less is a certain color on that tab, you go and click on it?
We could do whatever you would like.
Yeah, I know you can.
The situation is, the first one we did, when we do this, creating this file with all the maps on it, this was an effort that took a little bit of time.
Sure.
And when I say a little bit of time, we probably got, I got about a half a day in it, and Daniel Hyde, who works for me, has about a day in it, because he did all the links, and that's it. Now, in creating this, we found about 6 or 7 errors on the inspection map that you had last year. The things were named incorrectly. And for us to have any name correctly, because the name is linked directly to the file. You can't have the wrong name here and the right name over here, because they don't see each other then. So we've created it. Once we've created it, all we have to do is, anything you need, the reports and data are all linked together. We can just take it, pump it in there, color anything any way you want, make them different colored dots, different size dots, whatever you like.
We're in the middle of doing our 2014 bridge inspections, so I should have those back the middle of summer. Now that this is created, it'll be easy to add them on there, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it just won't take us very long at all. But what took the greatest time was getting hold of Schwab and Eaton and getting the material that we needed, because their material shows up with 3 different individuals at their company, and they don't all know what everybody else has. So, I mean, I spent most of my time just trying to glean the data and get it, and link it all together in a spreadsheet, or in a database.
Okay.
But I think you can see it is a handy little tool for use, and it does make the information much more accessible.
Now, those are just fracture critical that you got there?
Those are all of them.
All bridges? All total?
All 167.
Wow.
Yeah.
All 20 foot and longer.
Oh,
The
yeah.
20 foot and shorter aren't on there yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bridges on them. And just, I can show you this. Just so that you'll know how the information flows. I'm going to open up an Access database and show you the relationship chart. This is how many tables there are. All of these tables, these are the queries we did to map the data, and then these are the reports that we drew off to create what's going into that. And then if we looked at the relationships, this is a map of all of these files and how they're linked together. So it gives you an idea of what we do putting stuff together. So, well, because they don't all call them the same thing. So we have to make sure that every bridge is looking at the same data at the same place. So I just wanted to let you know, because sometimes if I just go work with everybody, you don't actually know what we're doing. And again, we're continually working with whoever we can.
This is incredible, man. This is,
GIS, that's
yes. Thank you. Very good.
Hey, appreciate it. Anytime you need something, don't hesitate to ask. We try and do it. We were just dealing with natural resource folk out of Effingham today too. They come in and get maps from us also, and I assume you want us to continue to help them. We get a lot of information from them also.
good.
And Roger, I don't even know if you're aware of this yet, but we're actually inspecting around 100 bridges that aren't in the system. They're 20 foot and smaller, so I'll be getting up to
It won't take us anything to do those either.
In fact, we're working on Schwab and Eaton to put because they did the whole report
Yeah.
on those other ones.
Yeah, I'll get those in the, just like I did these.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's great.
We just, every once in a while we'll show up to feed you a little more about what we're doing. But I deal with Pat on stuff almost every week. I will let you know, survey-wise, we just got back information from Dave Clark on, Dave reviewed, I think, 7 surveys since 2010. We're not dealing with big numbers, but every one of them, he is saying they need to be surveyed, they've got problems, and that's the reason we can't get them into the system. So we're sending letters out to all of those folks asking them, please get us better information, or we can't put their property into the system. So that's going on too. All of those things continue to work together. As I said, with the flood insurance stuff that you're getting, they have approved that, so we've got September 3rd, I think, is the drop dead date for approving the new flood maps and updating our ordinance to comply with the new regulation. So he just sent me out a new punch list today of, the changes that we need in our ordinance, in our resolution.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not prepared to speak about that other than to say, you've been warned a lot, you know what's coming, and it's just one of those things that we're gonna make it as painless as possible and do what we need to do.
Thanks, Roger.
Anything else?
I like that one slide you showed us where it said 210 bridges are compatible with chip and seal. I really do like that. That's genius.
All right.
Is there any quick discussion?
Well, if ever you need anything, don't hesitate to ask.
Good job, thank you.
Because,
Yeah, I love that. Like, the only thing I was just like nitpicking, like, things I would have seen, I was like, sufficiency rating. I just wanted to sort them out and see if you can show, because that's gonna be coming up here with the long-term resolution bridge plan, so. You've got the data, it's just a matter of sorting out the.
And we can sort it however,
Yeah,
everybody's got a different way you can,
yeah,
you know.
that would help us making decisions on how to prepare our budget for bridges. If we know 5 years out that we're gonna have X amount of bridges, we can track that, because we got the data's out there, we just gotta track it better. We got, you know, this one bridge, so I'll just pick a little one down by Cummings, I mean, we could have tracked, if we've been using some of this, we could have tracked over the last couple of ratings, like, hey, we got a problem coming up here, possibly, if the ratings are pretty well, I don't know.
Does that have the travel estimated?
Yes, it does. It has an ADT on it.
ADG, okay.
and I think since I was up here last, I think we've gone through and upgraded all of the maps that are on the website too.
Okay.
So there were some maps on there that were 2011, those have all been updated, everything is up to where it should be now. And so we continually move those. We are working on, the new network is forcing us to clean up our act a little, because at the time I moved into this, you know, Tony had a way that he was doing things, and it was a decent way, but it was an educational way, and it was not well organized. And so, rather than changing any of those files, we just wanted to keep everything flowing as smoothly as possible. But we're hitting that point now where Wes is saying, you need to clean those files up. And so that's what we're doing, is we're doing a lot of additional work to clean them up so that it's easier for the next individuals to follow that path. So, it's just, we keep working with this stuff. If you need something though, just let us know, because otherwise, we just keep working. Okay?
Has Jim ever had you do anything with like appraisals, like data with appraisals, have you done any work with that or GIS? Like tracking trends or changes in values or, maybe, I know it's out there, I'm just asking, it's like a limited blue sky with what we can do with.
Well, and as an example, you know, we created some route plans on the Neighborhood Revitalization Act, where it was utilized.
You're right.
Similarly, we have tracked the last 10 years worth of foreclosures and where they were occurring.
Correct.
And the amount for which each of those were. We haven't really tracked sales quantities and locations, but it's not something that's extremely difficult to do. With the queries that we can set up and run, all we have to do is geoconnect those and create it. It's just, we don't know exactly the best way to see everything all the time.
Sure.
It's just like the ambulance crew is in right now. They need a new set of maps, and I'm looking at what they're using in the ambulance when they go out. And I'm saying, we can help you tremendously. But they, as everyone says, is we want this. They want all of this stuff, and they want it all on a map that's big. And when we're through with it, you know, we can produce it, but when we're through, you can't read it, because there's too much stuff. And so, again, what we continually do, and that was the same thing with Ms. Baker, Kelly Baker, is she wanted all the stuff, and you know, Dan just said, well, we don't put all of that stuff on one map. Well, the reason is because we can put anything on there you want, but once it's on there, you can't read it because there's just too much stuff.
It's too big a file size.
Well, it's not even the file size that's the problem, it's just physically being able to read it, because you used to start putting acreages and ownerships on tracks. When we do the maps that are in Pauling's office now on farm acreages and ownerships in the county, but we sort out, we don't put any names on anything less than 30 acres, because 30 acres is a little bitty on there. And
Do you have a separate page in rather than having it on that, or do you have a separate page to identify, or how do you do that? If I understand what you're saying, is if it's more than 30 acres, you put that owner's name on there, but what do you do if it's not?
if it's not, we don't put the name on it, we just.
But is there another file that you can go to, or page you go to, that will identify that with the owner?
Well, in our system is electronic, so as everything grows, all the information's there. It's just, the only thing I'm talking about is when we transfer things to paper. And when we transfer things to paper,
Yeah.
you just don't have another place to go all the time, because you start dealing along these roads and highways, there are little bitty parcels where people have built a house or chunked off a little piece, and those things just usually get identified as a location.
Well, they want paper maps, England's with paper maps and that stuff?
They don't have anything electronic right now.
It is like approved purchases of like iPads, what the heck are they using?
Their comment to me was, they have to have paper because in case of an electronic problem, they didn't want to be responsible for that. Now, I don't know the situation,
Okay.
but, I always recommend electronic maps, because they can have those right on their iPad. And
It's right there.
you can bring it up, you can zoom in, you can follow it as you go.
Exactly.
We do the same thing for the appraisal office right now. When Colby goes out to do reevaluation of properties, the list is created, and right now what I'm doing is preparing this year's relist, because I'll put those all on his iPad, and then he can just bring those up, move around on them, they've got all the pertinent information that he wants. It's sitting on top of an aerial photo, and then he can just, with the right one, he can just take a stylus and write right on that report. And then we know exactly what to change. So, I love electronic files for that reason.
Yeah.
And pads are getting so common these days.
And have you had any updates with truck communications? Recently, I know that they had the GeoCall, or you were doing some work with GeoCall, updating some of their...
GeoCom's trying to pick up a new contract with them. We sat down and had a discussion, not over the new contract, but over where we were right now. There tends to be the direction is, and not Kim, I'm getting along great with Kim, but there is a situation where GeoCom is a little proprietary toward their product. And so they want to keep their address files, and they want us to keep our address files. And I have said, they're the same address, we ought to be keeping them together. If I change something, then you want me to email it to you, be responsible for emailing to you, and then you change your system, and then you put your system over here. The better deal is, if we're just, I'll update the parcels, you update the structures, and then we both use the same stuff, because that's the way it should be. We had a long conversation with them, we had about a 3-hour telephone conversation one day, with about 3 people on the GeoCom end, and by the time we were through, I think we were getting there. But we would hit these spots, and then it would get very, this is yours, that's ours, and then we'd say, well, why is that again? And then it'd come back together again. So the last time we ended it, they were going to, when we got back their structural address file, it was missing about 1,200 points. And that seems like quite a few. And so we sent them to them, and then it became an argument over who was going to be responsible to put that in and fix it. Yeah.
Sure. Is there stuff that we should be doing more in-house than the Geocom?
I was willing to do it in-house, but only if they were willing to admit that it wasn't their responsibility.
Okay.
And they weren't ready to admit that, okay?
Okay.
So I said, either admit it, and then we'll do it, or just go ahead and fix it. And I did warn them, I said, now, if you tell me this is not your responsibility, I will be telling the county commission that, we're doing this because Geocom says it's not their job, okay? Fair statement, isn't it? And they didn't want me to tell you that, so they're out there doing it, okay? And I didn't tell you that, I told you they're doing it, right?
Sure.
So I hope you don't mind that I use you that way.
No.
But they're out there now creating that point file, and, they were telling us how tough it was gonna be, and we suggested it's not gonna be anywhere near that tough. Here's how easy it's gonna be, so.
Well, you just gotta monitor stuff,
Yeah.
because some of these contracts are not cheap. I mean, these add up pretty quickly, and sometimes you get people that don't necessarily know what they're doing, or what they're getting, and it may be a lot more than what you really need to.
And, yes, and we repeatedly told them, we're not expanding your contract here. We're not asking for anything more than what you've already committed to.
Correct.
And if you believe that this is not part of your job, you tell us, because this needs to be done, and if it's not gonna get done by you, then we need to go talk to the commission and say, we need to do this, and Geocom has told us it's not their job.
Sure.
Fair statement. By the end, they were saying, well, maybe we ought to just go ahead and do that step. So, it worked out. And so, yeah, we're working with them constantly.
Okay.
Have had email with them within the past 5 days.
It's just, that it's usually difficult for us to keep track of all the different contracts and everything that's out there, so.
I fully understand, and we're more than happy to work with it. And I'll also tell you, anytime you find me getting into something that you say I don't belong there, don't hesitate to tell me. I'm not building a turf field. Okay?
Oh, yeah, very good.
All right. Thank you, I'll get out of your way.
Yeah, good.
It's very good. I enjoy it. I'll be a computer guru one of these days.
You kind of become a techie.
Yeah, right. A delete technique. I don't want to delete stuff. Dairy Mom is the deep man, that's it right now.
Oh, really?
Matt, thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Good job.
Yeah. I got it.
Thanks, Roger. It's good.
Bill?
Thank you. We're gonna talk about the, little bit, next
We need executive session, I know executive session, so.
Okay.
I need, I think, 7 minutes of the, I would move that we would go into executive session.
Just round it up to 45, quarter till.
Okay, quarter.
7.5.
Yeah, we'd go till 2:45, and, for non-elected personnel matters, and, include the Board of County Commissioners and Matt Dorson, the Bridge Supervisor.
A second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so we got a motion, a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Just make sure you.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. Click on the,
Little dot, right?
and then I'll write out. No action taken.
It helps, and at that level, they'll always remember that, the success that they, because the next level, you don't get to play with your old classmates. People don't realize how important your high school days, are. I think so many kids not go out for sport just because they didn't think this, they didn't like this coach, or this coach didn't like, they didn't think he was special. And I had several coaches that I just hated the best. I was out there to play for myself, but my school, I didn't care what the coach said.
Nothing that's all I have.
I like that, man.
Yeah,
That's gonna help us out quite a bit.
Like I said, I've used it several times already, sitting on my desk, all I had to do was type on it and in the old book, you'd have to look up 2 or 3 pages, and you didn't have the pictures, so that's everything you do.
Did you say Kyle's coming up?
Yeah, I asked a question about the,
We want to do your team act on this, and you act on this.
we can ask him, what he comes out.
I do have one just little
Yeah.
question. Because I scanned in the PO orders and sent them up to you, before I showed up, you already had them. I still need to get the POs, the numbers on there and everything, right? You guys aren't gonna do that.
What do you mean, as far as the announce, or?
When I'll have to go down, I actually get a number assigned to that PO.
Oh,
Like right now, it doesn't have a requisition number.
Requisition number on it.
Yeah, 'cause isn't that what's changing, like we approve stuff, well, okay.
Yeah, so do they still need to put those numbers on them? Is that what you want to know, the requisition number?
I still need to do that, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
It was kinda nice seeing that stuff. I mean, it was kinda nice to see.
Yeah, Chris told me to scan that stuff in and send it to you guys in advance, so you have a chance to look at it, so I'll just keep doing that. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, that's great. But I can't like to see like, you see, instead of having to print out each time, you just can do like electronic version where you fill stuff in and click, send it, so. I mean, that might be a possibility for the system, I don't know.
Yeah.
About that, once we got Kyle about this, I couldn't tell you for sure.
Well, have a good day.
You too, thank you. Thank you.
hey, Matt.
So I think let's see.
well, Matt,
Did you want money?
you need to have.
No, I said,
Oh, okay, how about you want it?
sorry.
With Chris and Mark being down there, what percentage of your workload do you think they took on? If you estimate?
Of me?
Or that office in general?
In the office, well, actually quite a bit, because, the payroll bills, that was, I would say, almost half of that office. And now we have real estate and elections, and elections only happen, every so often. When you got stuff you gotta do, so I do confirmations and.
You've been updated, we voter updated stuff, don't you, and all that kind of stuff, you're taking it.
Yeah, we have.
Change people,
Change
change
addresses.
addresses, names.
And I also do reports, like we go through, and if we get a listing from the state, if someone has, moved, we get like a statewide listing that we have to take care of too. See if they are registered with us, or if they're deregistered someplace else, we gotta send out cards to cancel them and stuff like that, so. But,
Could we say 60 to 75%? Or is that strong, is that too strong?
I might be a little strong for, I mean, that's take, but right now I'm doing what Mark did, I'm balancing the books with the treasurer's office and stuff, and I'm doing the daily statement and, distribution, letter of distribution, so we have all that, and I've never done that yet, I'm still learning how to do that part, but, I would say maybe, I'd say probably 50, 55, probably. Payroll and bills is the main thing, I mean, it's a big job in there. Bills especially, because you're probably bigger than payroll is actually, and then more than payroll.
met with Jonathan Mize about the Dorothy C. Vandiver Trust. There's two trusts that we get, but the Senior Village, Carway Trust, which you saw the main packet, that goes, the funds for that go towards salaries. The Vandiver Trust was set up by Dorothy C. Vandiver, this is back in '96, and it goes towards improving facilities, and it improves the quality of life of them. And so I met with Jonathan Mize, because I'm listed on as a trustee with Jonathan Mize. We met with Larry Mears today. One thing I didn't realize is I thought UMB Bank has been handling the trust for a long time, since '96. And it has stuff that's in multiple banks, which Jonathan Mize didn't know about until late last year, and I just found out today. So, we talked with Larry Mears about, we authorized, going forward with dissolving the trust. UMB has indicated they don't want to handle, it's a little more than what you think as far as the handle on that side, but, Larry Mears has got, again, it's a long process. I don't think it'd take 12 months, but it could take quite a few months to figure out, what to do with it. They're gonna get clarification. I got copies of what the current balance is of all the, accounts plus the original bill. And so they get some clarification as far as where the funds actually get transferred in. If they have to be transferred directly into, Senior Village Fund or where they go, but, that's kind of where we're at with that. But here it
Look,
is.
how many different bank accounts did they have?
5.
They all locals?
Yeah.
The UMB's got two.
First Circuit, yeah. That's true. We're at that point where, Jonathan said it probably, UMB's indicated they would like to see the trust. Now, some of the CDs will be coming up for, renewal, but all the banks are, everybody there, we can still withdraw, like even if we roll those, we can, withdraw $500.
These are different places than money goes.
That's the actual original will.
Oh, the actual,
Yeah, it's a copy of the original will. So it's probably gonna be a while, but, basically it's to require like some paperwork for Larry Mears to draft up, so for Jonathan Mize, so that's kind of where we're at with that. Won't impact us necessarily to do it, but we had to officially have a meeting this morning and do that, so. There's some like website to get clarification on it a little too, so it was underlined and highlighted. Yeah. Read C, and then the next one, the next page, it's kind of looking at what, basically where the funds can be deposited, so they're gonna get clarification on that. Yeah, that's what, we're ready for it.
We had questions about some barber that are in Marathon, going on with Casey.
Yeah.
Cristiano, myself, and Russ agree that it's beneficial for us to keep Marathon support until we are not relying on that software.
But what do we gain by having them on board?
I guess right now the clerks and the treasurer's office calls Mantron or NextCheck or Tom Rogers, whomever they're operating as now, a few times a week with various problems with reports and printing and different software issues. If we elect to go away from their support, we would be paying them an hourly rate. I think their lower tier hourly rate's around $200 an hour. And with the amount of calls that we make to them, it'll pay for itself and then some to just renew the service contract and then give them 30 days notice when we elect to terminate. Because we're not locking it for a year. When we switch over to each module, like we have the payroll module, we have the tax module, we have a couple other modules. When we move over to CIC for those, we'll give 30 days notice to Thomson Reuters to terminate the service agreement. So they'll back credit us for the remainder of the year. Yeah. Just because I'm a big fan of service agreements, because I don't want to leave us high in the water. Nobody knows everything, and a lot of the stuff that they've helped us on, really Weston and myself know the answers to. It's more inner workings of the way the reports are designed inside the AS400. So I think it's the best decision for us to keep it under contract for now, until we're not depending on them.
How's that gonna impact the overall amount? Because I thought originally we were doing that, and it was built into some of the overall costs. I just wanna see what the...
I'm not sure. I'll have to look and see what, because I think I'm getting what you're saying, where we had figured this is what we're gonna pay to Manatron, and now we're gonna use that and apply it towards CIC.
Yeah.
Let me look and see what the dollar amount is for the Manatron support, or Thomson Reuters support, I'm sorry. And how much we're gonna pay them in the projected dates that we're gonna cancel the services. Because there's one we're canceling in April or May, which would be the payroll. Then there's a piece of the tax that we're gonna cancel in June or July for Pauline's office. And then I think, it'd be September, October that we'll cancel for Sheila's office. Because that's when we're doing the final cutovers for those departments.
Those are pushed back there back to September, October.
I think so. I think we're waiting until she had paid out, excuse my knowledge of it, but it's a disbursement check, or does she pay out some sort of check?
Well, second half taxes are due May 10th, right?
Right.
What, does she pay something out like in September or October?
With the school stuff.
Yeah, there's some kind of, reimbursement.
Reimbursement check, that might be it. I don't have the map in front of me of what dates it is, but I'll look at the dates and I'll figure out the dollar amounts of what we should be credited back for canceling the service. And see where we're at. I'm not sure exactly what it does to the dollar amount, the projected dollar amount for, because I know we hadn't planned on spending this money.
Yeah, that's what I got concerned about was that.
We hadn't been spending it anymore.
And we have to, we
We don't have to,
I'm just saying, like, is it stuff that we can handle in-house, like questions,
I
or
would
is it
hope-
like software issues?
I would hope it's stuff we can handle in-house.
If you're just talking about like having trouble generating reports, that can't be.
I'm not sure. We asked Pauline how often she called in with issue. And, I mean, you could probably speak on it better than I could. What, 2-3 times a week probably she calls Thomson Reuters?
Probably. I don't call like I used to because I don't have payroll ability anymore.
Okay.
I used to use it, quite a bit, but I don't much anymore because I don't have that.
Was it that many, do we have that
I
many?
don't know.
I wouldn't say it's problems, I would say it's,
It sounds like we're paying for tech support.
That's
what
what it
sounds
is. That's exactly what it is. It's, you're correct.
So if something happens to,
It's not hardware.
yeah, this is just
This
for the
is
tech
just
support.
for their tech support.
It seems awfully high for tech support to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, I thought we were talking about like maintenance software stuff.
No, I believe it is just the tech support side of things. I don't think it's the software upgrades. I wanna say they just pushed it. When's it due by, do you know?
Well, it says it's due the 10th.
I think she paid.
March.
It's paid, it's paid, because it's already through on this thing.
Do we sign off on that?
Put that on it downstairs.
I don't think there's anything for us to sign off on, it was in the register, right?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it.
I don't remember, I just don't remember seeing Hank or, authorizing.
I thought she put that on, and she was talking about, she had sent a letter, what she wanted to cancel, what was coming up to cancel, and then they're gonna refund us back, like what you just said, with the
Yep.
money. I don't remember all of what she was gonna cancel, and how much it even was she paid.
So she's paying it with the ID, just to meet the deadline, and she is gonna cancel something.
Right.
Yeah, out of the gate, there was a few things on that we had said, we're not using them for this, we're not gonna renew that. There was a few that we were keeping.
That's what he's saying, they would prorate back what, we just gotta make sure that's.
That's the case. Let me check into it. I'll do some more research on it and see, what the dates were we were gonna cancel them, and the dollar amounts that we should be credited back, and make sure that, this probably was the one that we kind of mentioned, that if we cancel it, prorate back, I don't wanna validate that, because
Yeah.
I mean, some service contracts, they do not do that. If you sign a contract for a year, you have to support for a year.
That's what I think right there, when you said prorate back, like, I didn't think that anybody usually does that.
I've seen it both ways, but let me make sure before I speak. Let me just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't wanna pay for something for an entire year when.
We'll only use for a third of the year, or 2/3. So is it paid? Did she pay it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, but I was just asking, like, I've never seen it come across.
Right, we haven't seen a P O there. Never remember, it could have, I mean,
Okay. Let me check on it, so I can have some more information on it, I'll see what I can come up with.
Jack had mentioned, he's up earlier, that he's had to go back to handwrite stuff because there was supposed to be a computer left for him to use or something.
Yes. I have a computer in the jury room that I'm working on getting them set up. What we've done for now is Kim had an old machine that she used to have as a company issued machine. It's an old Accent PD laptop or an old dispatch laptop that I loaded or joined our domain with, and we're gonna begin installing CIC software on. So we can set them a workstation down in their little reception area. So the initial idea was we're gonna leave a computer up here so it could be locked up. I don't like that idea because then we're dragging away from that workstation to do work. So I'm gonna set that computer up, put it down in the lobby, and get them so they can connect.
Is Jack aware of this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. It's just, I'm about a day behind schedule. I've been working with the state on getting community corrections that overdone. Hope to have it up and going today, and then we can set it down there, and they've already been through training, they can start using it. That'll give them one workstation, they're going to use one of the spare laptops as their secondary workstation, so they're not fighting over a machine. I'm also working with Hewer Associates on coming up with the best game plan for getting them all access to it. We talked a little bit about either a remote desktop session or a complete domain migration for that whole domain, onto the courthouse's domain, just because for ease of use with the phone system and the software,
I agree with that.
we have to work with Hewer Associates on it because they're the Interpol experts. I don't know a lot of the rules and regulations around law enforcement network security, and they do. That's what we pay them for. So we're supposed to be having a call with them towards the end of this week, so we can talk about what we have to do to be in compliance with the state regulations on data security for the law enforcement side. And then we have a proposal we have to send to the Highway Patrol and KPI. But in the interim, we're setting 2 workstations down there so they can pay their bills.
we had a PO here on, I think this was probably budget, the appraisers department.
Yeah, it was on our budget. We budgeted for, I believe, 3 computers for them. Colby's failed on them. His hard drive failed on it, and it's a 4-year-old computer. For asset reallocation, I'm gonna throw a hard drive in it, I'm gonna buy a hard drive off the internet, reload the operating system on it, and send it up to Cena Village, replace one of the really old machines up there. And since what he does is a little more hardware intensive, we're gonna set him up a new computer. We're gonna replace Belinda's, and I think Debbie's also.
We need to sign off on this.
How's the phone system, how's that?
We had a call yesterday with AT&T and AOS. We should have the IP flex ordered this week. And then they said it's a 30 to 45-day lead. So that puts our projected install around April 15th-ish, for our cutover. All the upstream stream stuff and network stuff, I'm almost completed with. All I've got left is the courts, and that should be taking place this week, next week. So we'll be hopefully ready for it when it's available to us. It's a little behind schedule, unfortunately. They were working out the 911 testing for the IPFlex, and they're just about ready to release it to the public. We're actually going to be the first customer they sign over to IPFlex in Ashland. And they know we're ready for it, because I've talked to her about every day. But yeah.
So no real time estimate yet.
April 15th-ish is what was the result of the call yesterday. It's not confirmed until I get something in writing back from them, but that's what she said. She said if we order it this week, it should be available for delivery April 15th.
Okay.
And I'm working with AT&T on getting credits issued for our long distance usage up until April 15th, or whenever the final cutover date is.
Okay.
Because our budget projections did not include long distance in our phone bill, and we're spending that money. So they're gonna credit us back the amount that we spent on the long distance between January 20th and April 15th, whenever the final cutover date is.
Okay. The TSC is going pretty good overall.
Overall, there's a few glitches. We had a couple of unforeseen things that with Senior Village and the way they get connected, and using scanners to scan the building, but nothing we couldn't overcome. We set up, I worked Tuesday night, most of the evening, a virtual server setup, and then got them set up with remote desktop shortcuts and VPN access so they can remote desktop to it. And it's just like they're sitting in the courthouse, they can access the ICN and all their bills in that way. We have one more user that we need to get set up that way. We got Joe set up that way last week also. I need to get, there's a front desk temp or part-time employee at Senior Village that will need to get access also, because I think she's gonna do some of the bill work for Peggy and Phyllis. But other than that, a lot of departments were non-issues for getting cut over. This is my cell phone, sorry.
Oh, okay. Wasn't it?
Nope, not me.
But yeah, all of our departments are going to the new domain, with the exception of courts and the law enforcement center.
Let's go to the court. Oh, they had something.
Courts, up until this week, has been using Allegiance for their internet provider, and that's gonna go away when they get pushed out over the fiber also. And so, they have their own domain controller that I have to migrate them off of. It's just another step. It's like what I had to do downstairs, but I have to do it all over again for them, because they were their separate network upstairs. But that should be accomplished this week, early next week. That's all I know.
That's all I got.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, guys, if you need anything, give me a shot.
Yeah, check into the Vantron stuff.
I'll see what exactly we're paying for, and I'll make sure that it's proratable and they can print us back.
I think I nervous, especially when they know that we're not going back, you know.
I see some hurt feelings coming into play, yeah.
This is suspicious.
Well, we've already faced that a couple of times. We called them with a tech issue for the clerk's office a few weeks back, and I basically got the cold shoulder that you guys changed your VPN access, and we have one user that can VPN into your networking. They're on lunch, so you're gonna have to wait. And so there's already some hurt feelings as a parent, so we'll get it figured out.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Hear back from Chase. There's a house that was condemned by City of Atchison. It was owned by St. Benedict's Parish, and it was relayed to Chase and myself that it was a City of Atchison property. And then he's supposed to be getting an update on how many loads came out, but Jim Mann had Jim Toll, I believe, was the person that demoed the building, and it was relayed to Chase and me. We thought that it was a City of Atchison actual house that was demoed, although they condemned it. Steve Atchison did not demo it, so Chase is, I think he's getting a little too technical on me, but he's trying to, they're wanting to charge him for those C&D loans, but it appears that it was condemned by the city of Ashland, and wasn't torn down by the city of Ashland, so Chase had asked us if we could make a decision on that. I just asked him how many loads did it take out there, but, that's all I know. It was relayed to myself and Chase mentioned that it was, city of Ashland condemned it, city of Ashland didn't tear it down. They ended up tearing it down because they'd have to wait, like, I don't know. Jim just said like it would be like a year more before city of Ashland would be able to bid it out and get it tore down, so they just went ahead and tore it down themselves. So, essentially it was,
Who's the owner of it?
it's St. Benedict's Parish. It's over here on the south side of Ashland. It was a little house that they had or something like that. I don't know what the deal was with it.
We just have to be careful from a legal standpoint how the contractor ends too, as far as that goes, because you don't want to start changing the rules.
Well, that's what Chase had a question for me, and I remember we talked about it, because he said, we had made mention, it wasn't showing up on the resolution, the Timothy resolution, but we had said something about, you know, like, what about not-for-profits or churches or something like that, as far as them pulling out the C&D. I said, I remember the discussion about solid waste, but I can't remember about the C&D.
Yeah, I don't remember about the C&D. Because I think it was only specific to, if the city condemned and tore and hauled out there, their C&D would be exempt.
Correct. So basically, he was trying to get clarification, he had something back, I don't even know how many loans it was, I don't think it was very many, but.
Well, you know, we would turn about it all the time, you couldn't have more than $107.
I guess it was a small house, I don't know if it's a couple of loads, 2 or 3 loads. But the way it was relayed to myself and Chase, you know, we thought Steve Ashland was like demoing it, themselves and taking it in, they went ahead and had it tore down, so it was a condemned house by Steve Ashland, so. I think Chase just wanted some direction or guidance from us, like you just had mentioned, like, you know, like if something like this arises. So I don't foresee a lot of this stuff happening, but.
No, but it only takes one for something else to somebody else to try to, I don't know, say it, get an exemption, well, because I'm, you know, it's just like the Ashbrook thing that's going on, you know, they just passed it. I mean, well, see, I think the House is going to pass, the Senate hasn't passed it yet, so it's not in law, but it will start opening the floodgates. It will open the floodgates, and all they have to do is PVD go and they make some corrections, and I think everything's okay. But the legislators are taking it upon themselves to now dictate what is.
That legislation has 10 times more damage than mortgage registration fees, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
That, you know,
Well,
that's where they should.
the income tax thing has a lot.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well, for us, it really doesn't impact us, the income tax, because we don't get anything from income tax, it's the state.
Right, as county government, but as
Yeah.
taxpayers, you get the benefit there, but then it's gonna revert back to property tax, because income tax was one of the parts of the original school finance formula. And if there's no income tax there, why, part of the income tax was, that revenue was used for school finance funding. So
Oh, I see.
now where are you gonna go? It's gonna go to property tax,
Yeah.
unless you come up with a user fee or something.
And then our contention is that higher property valuations don't equal increase in bills. You know what I mean? They're thinking in theory that you have less mills for higher
What
valuations.
they're basically saying is, you spent $5 million this year, you spent $5 million next year. Don't account that you.
Correct.
It's costing more for bridges, employee benefits, or employee, if you wanna give raises or anything, they don't wanna take anything like that into consideration. You know, just stay steady.
See, I just don't hear a lot of people think about the income tax. Instead, I hear more things about property.
You know, because Brownback's getting called in the car on the income tax. It's gonna come back maybe by pretty hard. Even my good friend Jay is looked down for that.
Well, according to that meeting last Wednesday, the water, Tracy Streeter was pretty adamant that it's not the governor's water thing. Or that, I'm sorry, that study is not a part of the governor's plan at all. He doesn't endorse
I
it.
think that was done before he came in.
Well, that was at 82, but they're reopening. There's a, I can tell you, it's a GW, it's a water district number 3 in the state. They're the ones, they're out. Yeah, they're out west, yeah, they're out there somewhere where they're the ones that pushed to reopen.
GMD three.
Yeah, GD 3,
That's around Garden City.
yeah. That's the one that opened up this thing, so I can tell you what, the comments were made that, I'll just say east versus west was portrayed in this meeting very strongly. So there was a lot of concern about dividing the state over something like this. Because they said for every inch that they gain in water a year, they're using up like 3 or 4. And they were suggesting, I guess, Tracy Streeter, they went out to Sheridan County, I'm not sure what Sheridan is, but he said that, he calls them LEMAs. There's some sort of conservation program where they're working on multi-facets, but he said they saw a 20% reduction in water usage, conservation, by doing things, but they bring up good points now, like the one thing that you're gonna see the big deal is that, this is about the meeting, was they should not be irrigating, planting corn out there. They should be planting more crops that are suitable to those climates. You can truck in stuff, so that was one of the big comments that came out of that they're cleaned up, and they're being, I won't say reckless, it's recorded. There's a lot of comments made that they aren't practicing any conservation practices out there whatsoever, and so if you open up the tap, it's not gonna restrict them on usage whatsoever, so that's kind of the main point, so I'm very well. You're gonna get a lot more about it, I guarantee that.
This 50-year plan is far from over. It's the irrigation, the damming up, here in northeast Kansas, the rapid growth of this pond irrigation. It's gonna be, pretty soon it's gonna be heavily regulated by the state, because when it starts affecting how much water gets down to Lake Perry and, the recreational places. Stuff's gonna happen.
We talked about that too.
Well, you gotta face, the sad reality of it is that it isn't so much, your tax dollars don't vote, it's people that vote.
Yeah.
And there may be X number of dollars in agriculture, but if you've got 3 times as many people voting versus tax dollars, who wins? It's people. So, and look at Johnson County, and look at Frederick County and Shawnee County, what they carry, over 2/3 of the votes or something like that down there in Topeka, in the House, pretty close to it.
Yeah, I talked about Kansas City. They say Kansas City was pretty friendly to Nixon that study. That's just what they're talking about.
You sure, look how much they depend on it.
Get the big water district of Johnson County. Wanted lot more.
Yep, the water fight is about to begin. That's, of course, there's been a lot of, and the other thing people don't realize is all these new big dairies that are coming up in western Kansas. Every time you ship a gallon of milk out of there, 85% of that gallon of milk is water. So every day you're shipping water out of it. When they ship that milk somewhere else, you're shipping water out of it every day.
They also mentioned the fact about fracking and what that does. Water tables out there too.
They think it's lower than we need? Really?
Better, I forgot which.
They're pumping water out of those oil wells that are fucking taxing all day long.
Damn, man, like, you should see this, it wakes you up real quick, but they have the whole state and even the surrounding states, but, specifically the Oklahoma aquifer, they have it color coded by how many years that they got left in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty, you probably might have seen it.
That's, yeah.
The red and dark red are pretty eye opening. those are like under 20 years,
Yeah.
they got less. But
That's here in their estimate, but I mean, yeah, you can't pump water out of there like they're pumping water out of there.
I think it was like every inch going in, it's like 3 or 4 going out. I guess more that's what he said. That was Tracy Street.
But it takes a normal year, you know, or it takes, without pulling anything, it only regenerates a half inch a year, if you didn't pull
Yes.
anything out. So stop and think. You know, there's some places out there, in 20 years, they'll be back to the 1950s, flooding irrigation would be just a dust storm out there. It was climate change, it's like, in the western part of the state is wet, and the eastern part is dry.
What should I tell him?
Well,
What should I relay to Chase?
you just gotta go, I think you're gonna charge them, I don't know. Because sad thing it is all your private, your schools and all that stuff, so you know, they property tax exempt, they're not exempt from solid waste fees.
He was trying to look up, he was trying to relay how much, because he remember, he knew that we had talked about it, but he couldn't remember, I mean.
If it's not written in the agreement or resolution, there ain't what we need to do, I don't know, you kind of like to, but you can't, it's just like, all those people come up and wanted their, from the churches last year, they wanted their $61 back, Do it. It'll be one of them, it's one of them things you just have to consider that if you're gonna modify it, you modify it to next year, but you don't change the rules in the extreme. I mean, like I said, I don't think it can't be that, I wouldn't think it'd be.
That's what I thought too, I don't know how much it is.
Cause it,
It'd be a brick house.
I don't even know if that's brick, I think it was.
no, that will,
It's like a little house down,
Was it on the west side of it?
yeah.
if it was bricks, you'd want to sort them out, use it for riff raps.
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah. Go down far, Westwood.
Anything you guys wanna put on our agenda for, we need to, Statler's coming up to 11 o'clock.
Next week.
So we need to find out, Pat, what he found out from, they're bringing up a couple of bids, some kind of a special weed trimmer that cuts little bitty trees, and they're bringing an estimated bid.
We can't have a whole lot, because they want to be gone there to what, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock?
Yeah, we started, we have plans there, but 10 o'clock, we won't have, Jim has it right now, there's nothing on it. We'll probably have an executive session, get an update on the hearing. Shall I send you, I'll send you encouragement.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Oh, on Friday?
That's too far. But you're right, if you're not be there, Matt's gonna have to be there for that.
All I know is that I have to be there Friday, so. Be there
Well,
tonight.
I'd say, whenever they decide over there now, we will go with what we talked about last, and that's all water on the bridge. So if they don't get what they want, they're gonna come back and say, well, you offered that.
Well, I think that should be brought up, hopefully Pat will bring it up before that was and the judge rules that, if they rule it, it's fine. The one thing on the lake, I think we need to be deciding how they're gonna handle the trash. are we gonna go with that policy that we talked about, that, because if we continue to leave barrels around there, people are gonna dump their trash in the barrels, and they're still gonna continue to do it.
How many barrels they have? Oh, two of them.
I have no idea, there's several different stations around there that they may have. That's when they come up with, we need to find out, but I mean, we need to be developing a policy. The only scary thing about it is now they're gonna have to handle money. If we do that, you know. My suggestion was charge, whoever campers come, you charge them $20, here's the barrel, you bring the barrel back, you get $10 back or something. Because otherwise, we're gonna haul all their trash off, and we're gonna decide how big a dumpster, what we're gonna leave out there. They're gonna have to have something for their trash. Just something to think about. He done said a couple of weeks ago that one of the barrels weighs out some people, somebody from the others brought their trash out, just dumped it in the barrel.
Turn it over to the sheriff. Can prosecute that stuff.
I'm not sure the sheriff wants to go out there.
Well, what do they do? Where we draw the line, see them, how much do we have to pay for it before, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It costs us one way or another.
Gonna cost you one way or another, so. But sometimes you gotta make an example of something to get your point across.
Yeah, Well, I never did get back the copy of the signed resolution for, joint
Let's
communications.
just put it on that, put that on our.
We're gonna have to.
Yep. Just put it on our agenda for Tuesday.
Deb just said that she was having, the mayor stopped by, but she didn't send me anything yet, so she was gonna send it to us as soon as she got it, so. Sorry, I know Jack wanted us to do something with that, but.
Another weekend will kill anybody, let's work on that, so.
I think we need to push for a city county meeting. I personally would like to, have another county life meeting,
Carry.
county life, have people come up.
Oh, well, we need to make sure you get your breath ready first. I get that on my list here to ask Pat when he comes, we need to check out that, make sure the ownership, you know,
Yep.
that's your first station.
Yeah. Could probably get 20 minutes.
You need to hear these.
Yeah, if I get at least 20.
Okay,
Personnel matters, non-elected personnel.
and we're gonna adjourn after that.
Yeah, we'll adjourn after that. Yeah, we don't expect to take any action.
No, so we will adjourn, yeah, we will adjourn at the end of that executive session, which will go till,
For 350?
3:50. I make that I move to enter into executive session on non-elected personnel matters for 20 minutes, coming out at 3:50 and adjourning, taking no action and adjourning at that point.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We give her all the stuff that she needs.
I think so.
Okay.
If you have something on your agenda, you say